just kind of really kicked this offense into high gear. And they've been able to execute and score a lot of points, and this offense has been very difficult to stop. So I would almost argue that it's not really even Sirianni still. I think it's more of like they just have better weapons now. They have a healthy offensive line. A.J. Brown and is it Donovan Smith, or am I getting
Devonta Smith?
Devonta Smith, there you go. Devonta Smith, and it's like those two guys are really kind of keeping this game going on the outsides. And then you have Dallas Goedert. Don't forget Dallas Goedert, especially in this game. He came back late in the season, now he's healthy, and Jalen Hurts is going to utilize him. So it's like now there's another weapon that the Eagles have to use on top of a very healthy offensive line coming into this tough matchup. This is definitely going to be a battle for sure.
All right, yeah, sorry. It looks like we just dropped out for a second, but we're back. Must have been a connection issue here somewhere around. I'm not sure. There is something going on down the road.
There's too many people connected to the internet.
It could be. There's too many people
disabled.
connecting, on their phones. Maybe they're subscribing to our YouTube page right now to enter to win this jersey that we have here tonight, Joe. We are giving away a jersey here.
We need more people to subscribe and sign in.
Yep, absolutely.
And that way we will be allowed to give away the jersey because there is a minimum. We definitely need some more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know everybody's out there. They're having a great time eating food, and they're having great conversations and a good time. But don't forget, there is a jersey giveaway happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, Philadelphia Eagles, where's Paul Matty? He goes, there's a place called the Gold Lion we should have a drink at.
All right.
Message me. There you go.
All right, cool, bro.
Meeting up plans.
All right.
There we go. I like it. Absolutely. So, again, the
that's
Eagles.
What it's all about. This great football community of ours, these know-it-alls that we have out there. It's family, man. It's family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, the Eagles, again, what a remarkable season, the way they played, too. It went undefeated for a very long time, as well. The
longest.
The longest, yeah. And even, we're competitive when they had to put Gardner Minshew in, too, as well. But, again, they were kind of had to be the favorites, I think, going into the season here. Because when Gaz wants to say, too, it's like, who's your prediction and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, yeah, we don't really do that. Blah, blah. But I remember during that episode now, because I even looked back at the episodes, I'm like, did I pick somebody or not? I was like, when you looked at rosters, it has to be probably the Eagles and then the Bills. Yeah. And potentially it could be still. These two teams are both in it. The Bills looked really good as well before, but now, with that injury to Von Miller, it seemed like their defense did take a step back, and that hurt them that much, not having that veteran for them. But the Eagles, again, defensively leading the league in sacks overall, too, as well. And that offense looking good. They're a scary team to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is we talk about the 49ers and how great of a defense they are and everything. But the Eagles, they're not too far behind the Niners in terms of defense. Listen, their secondary is one of the most lethal secondaries in the NFL. They've had tons of interceptions. I don't know what the real stat is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're leading the league in interceptions. And on top of that, they have no shortage of pass rushers. No shortage of guys that are going to apply pressure to the quarterback and help stop the run. I mean, this is a team that they've done a phenomenal job roster-wise building it. And now they are right there in contention to possibly, continue and win and go for the ultimate goal, which is what everybody's trying to do, is win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is going to be a knockout, drag-out game with the division rivals here, Joe. It's nuts, but on the other side of it all, too, with the Cowboys and the 49ers, I mean, whoever comes out of this one has to face either the Giants or the Eagles, and it's going to be a tough matchup altogether. Imagine if it ends up being the Cowboys and it's an all NFC East championship round to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that would be pretty interesting. Something I think nobody predicted before the season. Sorry, but yeah, those 49ers, they're a tough defense and offense on top of it.
I cannot imagine. I can't imagine the Cowboys any chance of beating the 49ers. That defense is too good. The offense has been, hasn't skipped a beat. So I think it's a big mountain to climb for the Cowboys and what they've been able to accomplish. I mean, yeah, they've kind of limped, I would say, into the playoffs, and they're not playing at a high level right now. So, but that's why the indicator is that the Niners are going to wipe the field with them and be done and move on.
All right, absolutely. Excellent. Good luck. He won the Dion Lewis football
right.
last time.
That's
I think,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
definitely.
he's got some luck there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep. More
Nice.
people climbing in here.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
look, now the Chief fan shows
oh,
up because
boy.
they won.
All right, thanks.
A Travis Kelce fan just walks in with his
From
Chiefs
behind,
jersey.
he almost looks like Travis Kelce. He's got the fade
Literally
and everything
just
else.
walked in because like, oh, now I can go to the bar
You
because
can't
we
be
won.
seen. Right. I can't get made fun of right now for happening.
Oh, funny. But
He
yeah,
says,
I mean, go ahead.
Paul Matty, I'm just going back to Paul Matty. He says, if you meet me for a drink in Titusville, I would do a video segment with you for the show. How about
Nice,
that? So
bro.
there you go.
That'll be fun.
On
Yeah.
Wednesday. So maybe we're figuring that
maybe
out.
we will.
Cody and I will be in the studio. That's right. Cody, he is the new addition to the Football on the No show. He is here. He's hanging out at the bar, having a drink, chilling.
He's
because,
slacking.
again,
He's
in a little
really
bit,
slacking right now.
yeah, he's supposed to be our promo guy out there. And he's
supposed to be
just
like the
enjoying some of
know-it-all
the great food and
cocktail
drinks.
waitress right now.
Yeah. But yeah, he was going to be here with us, but we were in the corner here, so it's a little tight. But yeah, here we go. Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Football Giants, Joe. What is the key for the Giants to really get this victory here?
I mean, we kind of said it before. They got to be able to run because that is really their bread and butter when it comes to their offense. They got to be able to run the football. Now, it doesn't mean that Barkley has to have a 120-yard rushing game and 2 touchdowns, but Daniel Jones has been helping this offense move forward a lot with the, with the deception that they have with this offense and with Daniel Jones, and where you don't know whether it's going to be a scripted run play for Daniel Jones or if he's just dropping back and throwing the football, and then before you know it, he already ran by you. He's going down the field. So unpredictability, I would say, with this offense, because you know that both teams know each other extremely well. They've seen enough plays from each other to know what they're going to try to do in this matchup. But for the Giants, I would say be more unpredictable. You know what I mean? Like, get Saquon Barkley out in the flat. Get him out in the open and throw the football to him. Or even do, a drag route where he's just underneath the linebackers, feed him the ball and let him run with it. So on the run. Little things like that. Don't always have to feel like you have to hand it off or script a run for Daniel Jones to take off. But I would say be unpredictable, for them. And then the other side of it for defense, I know Wink loves to blitz. I know that. And that's his deal. Like, that's what he does. He blitzes a lot on defense. But you got to be careful. You have to be careful because you don't want to put your defense in a bad spot and then have to, oh man, Jalen Hurts is running all over us because we're not getting there quick enough, or we're breaking containment, and now he's taking over the game with his legs. So for Wink, I feel like he needs to have kind of reel back a little bit on the blitzing, at least early on, and just to see how it's all going to work out. But the Giants definitely, both teams, this is going to be a phenomenal, tough game for both teams. But I would say that would be the deal for me.
Yeah, for me, like I said, unpredictability, like they weren't supposed to be here. So I think everything's on the table in this. We're going to see maybe a little of everything. I hope so. Tight end screens, something like that, something different that they don't do so much. And also for the defensive side, who has been really performing for them? Dexter Lawrence. He's been getting crazy. So if he could get that pressure up the middle still, and some of the other guys clean up, like Kayvon Thibodeau has been around the ball too as well, and performing at a high level. But the key is having Dexter Lawrence break that middle, so then you guys contain, Jalen Hurts. He's not able to take off after that, breakage of the protection.
To do.
It is. But if they can do that and keep him from running around and getting out of the pocket, that is the key, I think, on the defensive side as well. And also put Xavier McKinney in the box and in coverage, because also when you look at it, the fact that they have Adoree Jackson here healthy on the defensive side, it's key for that defense, because you saw what he was able to do against Justin Jefferson last week and pretty much lock him down for most of the game. You'd see maybe that he would probably be on A.J. Brown this week, but just expect some of the other guys, Xavier McKinney, to cover, maybe a Devonta Smith or somebody else around there.
And the other thing too is, Daniel Bellinger, the tight end, like, he needs to wake up. Like, they need to be able to utilize him. We talk about unpredictability, and that's the same thing. Like, use the tight end a little bit more. You know what I mean? And kind of mix it up and make the Eagles defense think. Because if you can actually kind of confuse them a little bit, any defense this goes for, Now they're thinking more than reacting. Now they're starting to maybe even they mess up their assignments, on the fly. So that's what you want to do. You want to confuse. You want to manipulate the defense. And if the Giants can do that, I really think that the Giants could maybe pull this thing out.
All right, Paul Matty says, what did you guys think of the video promo my friend Hacksaw Jim Duggan did for Football Universe discussion group? He pinned it to the top. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet.
I haven't.
But I like how he name drops all too. It's my friend, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Only my friend, though. There he goes. From Glens Falls, New York, though, by the way, which is only up the road from us.
Yep.
Good old Hacksaw Jim Duggan, hometown guy, absolutely. And Mike Tackett says, he's got a question for us here in the discussion. Is this the Cowboys' last chance to make a run? Salary cap casualties coming for Dallas, KC and Cincy in the near future too as well. What's to happen with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting part of this. We've said for the last 2 years that they were going to hit a salary cap wall at some point. They've unloaded the Brinks truck, backed it up for Ezekiel Elliott. Basically the last big payday a running back has had in the NFL, and now they're locked in with him. They're stuck. They're basically paying him about $14 million a year, and it's going to drain the bank account quickly. And then on top of that, you look at this year. Guess what? We called it like before anybody else saw it, but Tony Pollard we knew was the legit running back that the Cowboys needed to hand the ball to. And now that he's having a great year, guess what? Happens to be a contract year. He happens to be a unrestricted free agent heading into the offseason. And what's the Cowboys going to do now? Because they can't get out of the Zeke contract no matter what they do. And then now it's like you don't want to let Tony Pollard just kind of walk out and go into free agency. So realistically, I don't think the Cowboys can do anything unless they could manage to convince Pollard that this is the best situation for him and we're going to give you a raise, but we can't give you a big one. But we would like you to stay, somehow to convince him to stay. I don't know if it's going to work, but, man, they're going to be going through some things for sure. Cap casualties, you think about Van Der Esch, the linebacker who's kind of been often injured. He's also going to be due to be an unrestricted free agent. So there's a lot of bigger names that are looking towards the offseason to maybe cash in and maybe go to another team. And that's the biggest thing for Dallas. Like, this could be a big problem for them after this year if they don't get it done, which we don't think they're going to. But if they can't get it done, then what's going to happen for the future? Like, we already understand CeeDee Lamb's still under his rookie deal, so he ain't going nowhere. They just re-signed Michael Gallup to a bigger contract. And it's like you just see kind of like the little bit of the writing on the wall. The offense isn't 100% solid. Will Tyron Smith finally retire? If you look at it
this way, again, like the way that Mike Tackett's looking at it, it probably is the last run for this particular group, because I think you are going to see some changes. And we already heard about the rumors about if Mike McCarthy doesn't go through and they win a championship under Mike McCarthy, even especially this year, that he could even be on the hook. I mean, people are possibly talking to Dan Quinn about becoming a head coach too as well again.
Right.
With that defense, what he's been able to do here too, and at the defensive side of the ball,
not much.
They've paid some of these big guys too as well, like you said, and handled some of those contracts. And when you have like a CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and Zeke, with the contracts here. It's going to tend to be an issue here. And what's the legacy of Dak Prescott going forward after this? That's what people have asked the question about this after this whole season too, because you went and he held that, did his issue there, whatever,
right?
And they finally broke and paid him, after the injury,
right?
And if he's not able to get them farther, and then what do they do? Do they decide to hit the reset button? What do they do with him? Is it rebuild? And if it is a rebuild, are they doing it with Mike McCarthy or somebody else?
And the thing with Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones runs that team. We all know that. Everybody knows that. Jerry Jones does not rebuild. He refuses to rebuild. He's always going to push forward. He's going to retool the roster. He's going to push forward to try to keep winning. And that's just what he does. He's a phenomenal businessman, but other than that, sometimes he tries to force things to happen for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's his aggressive business style that's kind of helped the Cowboys, stay up in their division to kind of always be pursuing the playoffs. And that's that. That's for Dallas. For Kansas City, I know they're going to be, cap casualties and all that, but there are ways to get back under the cap. Listen, we saw just this past season, we thought the Saints were going to be almost going to be impossible to, get rid of in one offseason, $60 million over the cap. And they managed to figure it out. They managed to do it with contract renegotiations and maybe some cuts and things. So there is ways to manipulate the cap that the Cowboys are going to attempt to do to kind of get back under the cap. But other than that, they're not going to be able to do too much in free agency, do too much to build it throughout the offseason, that type of way. But they're going to definitely have to concentrate on the draft and hit on their draft picks. Other than that, I'll go back to Kansas City real quick. Kansas City, I mean, they're built to win and for the future. They've established a great roster. Again, they're also going to do different things on the books to get them underneath the cap. And there's a lot of one-year deals that they signed this past offseason. You think about Juju Smith-Schuster. Are they really going to unload money to keep him? I don't think so. I think he'll be a free agent once again. So there's going to be ways that they're going to be creative with to get back underneath. But for Kansas City, I don't think that's going to be a problem to continue their winning ways. Listen, they got the best head coach right now. Andy Reid is phenomenal. He's the most creative coach in the NFL right now, maybe until Sean Payton returns next year. But, I mean, that's what I would say about Kansas City. Jim, what do you think about Kansas City in that?
Hold on, I want to give a shout out to Nathaniel McCourt in the house with us tonight. He's a
Hashtag know-it-all.
Welcome to the show, brother.
He's 7-0. Is his prediction record so far in the playoffs, and he's looking to go 8-0 when the Giants win. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome there, Nathaniel. Absolutely. Paul Matty says great energy tonight. He's going to be back in a little few. He's probably going to make a mixed drink, and then he's going to come back. So he'll come back. But Kansas City Chiefs, again, I think we've talked about this. Next coming years, they have been able to restructure contract. Travis Kelce too, as well. He got a big extension. Patrick Mahomes with his deal, making it a real long term to try and make it friendly for them. But the band is eventually going to break up because of it all. Luckily though, despite that, they've shown that losing some of these guys, they thought the people thought the world was going to collapse, go flip upside down when Tyreek Hill was gone and left to the Miami Dolphins. And look, here they are, going to the championship game once again to make a run at another Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were
been able to do though without that.
For them to lose one guy. Don't get me wrong, a phenomenal player in Tyreek Hill, a speedster.
Yeah, but then also Tyrann Mathieu, things like that. They lost a few different players, but again, guys that were there with the Super Bowl run team.
Yeah, but I mean,
and cap issues.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is like to lose Tyreek Hill was a big loss. Let's just say what it is. It definitely was, but the offense had to evolve. That's really what happened. And just stated it a second ago, Andy Reid, best and most creative play caller there is right now. And who but Andy Reid could take anybody and turn them into gold. And that's what he's done. Listen, they signed a Juju Smith-Schuster to a one-year deal. They gathered some different pieces. Mecole Hardman was injured mostly, but he was in and out of the lineup, and it's like he made it work. He made it work with the running backs that he had. He made it work with, and the guys, they were constantly, like, the turnover on the roster was crazy all season long. So for them to be able to do that, that just proves the point that Andy Reid is one of the best minds in the NFL, and he's able to be creative and keep the team going. So I don't think there's any worry about Kansas City kind of falling off the wagon just yet. Until some of those big-name players or big-time players like Travis Kelce ends up leaving Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, and you see what they've been able to do. I mean, look at the addition of Pacheco that they have at the running back situation. I mean, that guy ended up setting up one of those touchdowns for Chad Henne because it was looking a little rough for them in this game here, and then he ran directly into the pile there, was able to bounce out, and that speed that he had really helped out and get right there to set up a goal line a score. But that's what shows you this franchise what they can do though with drafting some of these guys and say, hey, we're comfortable with moving on from a Tyreek Hill and then getting this guy Pacheco and still having Hardman, getting Juju Smith-Schuster, doing something with him, but then even on top of it saying, hey, we got a little enough here too, we'll just grab Kadarius Toney too, why not too, we'll take him too, you guys don't want him, it's not working out, whatever, we'll take him. And do something with him. He was a little effective tonight.
He's been really effective in that offense.
they make it work, I'm not so worried about them with the cap issues and stuff. With Cincinnati, that's a big key for me again, because you've been working with Joe Burrow, on the low here, and you know what teams try and do. They try and get that guy cheap, because you look at the teams like the 49ers. The 49ers have been able to play this thing pretty well, except for when they did give the money to Jimmy G. But get a lot of guys on lower contracts and make it work with what they got. Now they have a superstar roster, but luckily now, if they decide to stick with like a Brock Purdy, he's on his rookie deal, and if he still stays, in his winning ways and not making mistakes and lead this team to great heights like they could do this season, I mean, they could keep it going for a few years. But Cincinnati, they've got another issue on their hands too as well, because again, you look at the superstars that they have, and they're going to want to get paid, especially if they make another run at another championship, trying to get to the championship game, the Super Bowl again, and possibly win it this time instead. But offensive line injuries this week, it's going to be a rough outing there, not in Buffalo, but then in Atlanta there.
I mean, the crazy thing about the Bengals right now is that they are ready to win now. And as far as salary cap issues go, like I don't think that they're going to slip. Listen, they got a franchise quarterback. They secured the offensive line this past offseason. They're going to be healthy next year. They're going to come back strong. The real thing is going to be to evaluate and watch and pay attention to Joe Mixon, the running back. He's not getting any younger. He's getting a little bit up there in age, and he commands a lot of money. So would he be even considered to be a salary cap casualty, or would they just renegotiate the contract to kind of thin it out for a longer amount of years? So there's different ways for them to any team to kind of manipulate the cap, and we've seen it done before. Listen, the Saints this past year did a phenomenal job of it, and they're going to have to do it again. And same thing with the Rams. The Rams are another team. I think they are leading right now in terms of over the cap issues that they're going to have to deal with. But Cincinnati, for the most part, I think they're going to they're going to remain solid. They got their O-line, they got their quarterback, like I mentioned. Jamar Chase is going to be the real hurdle. Like, Jamar Chase is going to command a ton of money to keep him there. He is the number one receiver, and then you also got another youngin in T. Higgins. And he's going to command some money. And then Tyler Boyd, who knows? Maybe he goes into free agency. So there's a lot of things there that it might change, and especially defense. Defense, they've managed to keep none other than Eli Apple, the worst cornerback of all time, on a one-year deal. In the last 2 years, they've signed him to a one-year deal. So, but I guess he works well with that defense. So for Cincinnati, I still think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to do a lot of the things that Kansas City's going to have to do, and cap-wise, and I think they're going to remain a winner.
Eli Apple got promoted because of injuries, and you look at too how they played with some of these guys. Jesse Bates, remember, he was potentially not going to sign the franchise tag this year too, and ended up signing it eventually this year. So what's going to happen with them? He's finally going to walk this year too on the defensive side. So they've been always trying to save money whatever way they can. But Paul Matty says, by the way, he is going to be drinking chilled tequila shots tonight. He says you guys should do a shot every 30 minutes on the show.
Maybe we could do that.
I don't know. Every 30 minutes? Yeah, possibly. That would only be like 2 shots.
That wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
that would be nothing.
That's easy. I thought you were going to say every 30 seconds or every time we say something.
Don't give
them ideas.
See?
That would be bad. But, all right, so just we'll wrap things up pretty quick here. Joe, Philadelphia, they have got to be the favorites here. They are at home. What do they basically do to not lose this game? What do they have to do to just not lose here?
Very simple. Continue doing what you've done all year. Listen, and here's the crazy thing is that we mentioned about their defense and their secondary and their pass rush and their offensive line that's healthy. Listen, everybody has a part to play on both teams. And for the Eagles, it's just simply don't make mistakes. Don't make mistakes that's going to critically hurt you. That's all. They already have a super deep roster on both sides of the ball. They're healthy. The Giants are healthy coming into this. And listen, both teams are going to give it their all just to try to get the job done. So for the Eagles, like I would say too, like their interior D-line is also very ferocious. So this is going to be a great game, bottom line. I would say, like, with this Giants-Eagles matchup, this could possibly be the best playoff game this year. That's what it's looking like it's going to be. Very hard-fought game, both sides. I can't wait for the matchup. And obviously, like Philadelphia, super hard place to play. And, going with the Eagles in this one for tonight's matchup, just because they've had so much success all year. I don't think they're going to slow down at all. And they're home. I mean, that's also a big win in the playoffs.
So you're going with the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Joe, it's interesting here because now I found myself in a bit of a pickle. He says, oh, by the way, Paul Manny says, message me about Titusville. I will show you a great time.
All right, bro.
And we can do a live segment. Absolutely. All right, cool. So in our show on Wednesday, I ended up picking the Giants because, again, I was feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like they have momentum. But then I started thinking about our competition again. I'm like, man, it's only one game away. But do I put it all in on my Giants? They haven't won since 2013. They're playing against one of the best defenses in the NFL right here. Do they have enough? Do they have enough to get it done? I'm not sure. So do I play it the smart way here, like I have all season? You've seen it, where I've just been like, all right, the smart bet is to bet Philadelphia. And if Philadelphia loses, I'm happy because the Giants won. But if the Philadelphia Eagles win, I can settle with myself that say, all right, I'm still only one game down on you, and we have 2 more weeks or so to go. So let's keep it interesting. Do I do that, or do I do what maybe Brian Daboll would do and believe in my team and go all out? And this is going for 2 right now.
You know what's crazy?
My 2-point conversion, is it with the Giants right now?
What's crazy to me is that you could split the fan base right now. There is a lot of people that are for Giants, and there's a lot of people for the Eagles in this matchup. Whether you're a fan or not, and even if you're betting, just straight up betting, who you think's going to win, it's kind of split. It could even be like 60-40 to Eagles. But there is a lot of really good arguments to be made that the Giants. Listen, I think this is a 50-50 shot, and I'm just going with the team that's at home. So that's the only reason why I'm picking Philly, to be honest.
Yeah.
If it was in New York, I probably would pick the Giants.
All right, so then what I'm going to do, they just kicked it off, kickoff, there it is, the game's on. This is it for us. You know what?
Big time.
I think I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. Just to play it safe.
Play it safe.
So I'm going with the Eagles.
That's not how you win, Jim.
I know it's not. Because I could gain one on you and we could be tied after tonight.
This just in. Paul Matty says, call me at 1-800-BIG-SEXY or my OnlyFans.com page.
How about I just do it, Joe? How about I just do it? I'm going to take the emotion from my coach, the way my coach is. What would he do? Screw it. I'm not taking it easy. I'm going to go all in it. We're going Giants tonight. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with my team tonight.
Yep.
All in.
Absolutely.
Here we go. So then I'll end up drinking and do the drinking show. Give the people what they want.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure Brian Daboll, if he caught this show tomorrow,
he would say, why would you do that?
He would be like, you're a Giants fan. You didn't believe in us?
Absolutely.
That's it. He's going to kick your ass.
Yep, that's it. So that's it for us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the pregame show. Game is kicked off. Here we go. Go Giants. We'll see what happens with the Eagles and the Giants.
Enjoy the game.
We'll talk to you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more football on the know with Jim and Joe.